Discover expert-developed Metatrader tools that can complement professional solutions. Session time filter. MQL5 copyright 2026 Agasphere https current agaspherequant.com property copyright 2026 Agasphere property link https agaspherequant.com property version 1.00 property description session time filter library property description filter trades by traded sessions London NY Tokyo Sydney property library session definitions server time and number in session Sydney session Tokyo session London session New York session London NY overlap session custom session time structure struct session time int start hour int start minute int end hour int end minute string name C session filter class fast C session filter private a session time and session 6 int and GMT offset bool initialize default session times GMT void delete session Sydney 21000600 GMT and session Sydney dot start hour 21 and session Sydney dot start minute 0 and session Sydney dot end hour 6 and session Sydney dot end minute 0 and session Sydney dot name Sydney Tokyo 000900 GMT and session Tokyo dot start hour 0 and session Tokyo dot start minute 0 and session Tokyo dot end hour 9 and session Tokyo dot end minute 0 and session Tokyo dot name Tokyo London 7001600 GMT and session London dot start hour 7 and session London dot start minute 0 and session London dot end hour 16 and session London dot end minute 0 and session London dot name London New York 12002100 GMT and session New York dot start hour 12 and session New York dot start minute 0 and session New York dot end hour 21 and session New York dot end minute 0 and session New York dot name New York London NY overlap 12001600 GMT and session London dot start hour 12 and session London dot start minute 0 and session London dot end hour 16 and session London dot end minute 0 and session London dot name London NY overlap custom default same as London and session custom dot start hour 7 and session custom dot start minute 0 and session custom dot end hour 16 and session custom dot end minute 0 and session custom dot name custom convert time to minutes since midnight int time to minutes int hour int minute return hour 60 minute adjust for GMT offset int adjust for GMT int minutes and GMT offset 60 if minutes 0 minutes 1440 if minutes 1440 minutes 1440 return minutes public constructor C session filter and GMT offset 0 initialize false init sessions initialize with GMT offset bool init int GMT offset 0 and GMT offset initialize true return true set custom session times void set custom session int start hour int start min int end hour int ending and session custom dot start hour and session custom dot start min and session custom dot end hour and session custom dot end minute and min check if current time is within session books and session if exhalation initialized in it and curl date time dt time to struct time current dt int current minutes time to minutes dt dot hour dt dot min int start minutes adjust for GMT time to minutes and session dot start hour and session dot start minute int and minutes adjust for GMT time to minutes and session dot end hour and session dot end minute handle sessions that cross midnight if start minutes and minutes return current minutes start minutes current minutes end minutes return current minutes start minutes current minutes end minutes check if specific time is within session bullets time in session data time num session if exhalation initialized in it MQL date time dt time to struct time dt int current minutes time to minutes dt dot hour dt dot min int start minutes adjust for GMT time to minutes and session dot start hour and session dot start minute int end minutes adjust for GMT time to minutes and session dot end hour and session dot end minute is start minutes end minutes return current minutes start minutes current minutes end minutes return current minutes start minutes current minutes end minutes at current active session s string get active session string result if it's in session Sydney result M session Sydney dot name if it's in session Tokyo result M session Tokyo dot name if it's in session London result M session London dot name If is in session New York results, M session New York dot name, return results. No major session result that session name string at session name in session return M session dot name at time until session starts in minutes until session in session if is in session return 0 and QL date time DT sign to struct time current DT in current minutes time to minutes DT dot hour DT dot min in start minutes adjust for GMT time to minutes M session dot start hour M session dot start minute in diff start minutes current minutes if diff 0 diff 1440 return diff at time remaining in session in minutes remaining in session if exclamation is in session return 0 and QL date time DT time to struct time current DT in current minutes time to minutes DT dot hour DT dot min in 10 minutes adjust for GMT time to minutes and session dot end hour and session dot end minute in diff and minutes current minutes if diff 0 diff 1440 return diff check if it's a weekday modified bool is weekday and QL date time DT time to struct time current DT return DT dot day of week 1 DT dot day of week 5 check specific day of week bool is day of week in day 0 Sunday 1 Monday etc. MQL date time DT time to struct time current DT return DT dot day of weekday filter I multiple sessions bool is in any sessions bool Sydney bool Tokyo bool London bool New York if Sydney is in session Sydney return true if Tokyo is in session Tokyo return true if London is in session London return true if New York is in session New York return true return false exported functions or procedural usage C session filter G session filter initialize session filter bool session filter init GMT offset 0 export return G session filter dot init GMT offset check if in session bool is in trading session in session export return G session filter dot is in session get active session string get active trading sessions export return G session filter dot get active session check if London MY overlap bool is London MY overlap export return G session filter dot is in session London check if Asian session Sydney Tokyo bool is Asian session export return G session filter dot is in session Sydney G session filter dot is in session Tokyo check if European session bool is European session export return G session filter dot is in session London check if American session bool is American session export return G session filter dot is in session New York classic MACD strategy made fully automatic the MACD expert advisor for MT4 handles it all. Check it out. Thanks for reading. Discover premium Metatrader solutions at Robot FX 69,095 best Metatrader indicators profitable expert advisors.